Hi guys, it's pretty cold here in Virginia City, but I am here to investigate the Washoe Club. The history of the Washoe Club is quite fascinating in itself, so I'll be explaining a little bit of that to you. I'll hopefully clear up a few stories that are told here at the Washoe Club, and maybe someone will say hello to me. It's a little bit noisy outside to do anything at the moment because there's still people from the karaoke next door, but let's see when it quietens down if we find anything. Talk to you soon. Okay, so I'll start with a few little interesting tidbits about the Washoe Club. The building originally was called the Douglas Building, okay, and the Washoe Club was actually in B Street and burnt to the ground in the Great Fire of 1875. So the gentlemen had to find somewhere else to hold their meetings and have their club, so they rented out or the second level of the Douglas Building. They prepared it and got it all pretty and everything and started having their meetings there. So it was fairly opulent for its time, not as opulent as the original building, which unfortunately I've not been able to find any photos of, only descriptions. Now the other interesting thing is the spiral staircase, which you can see here. That was primarily used by the attendants who came up to the Washoe Club. It's been hinted that it was used as a private stairway for ladies of the evening to enter into the Washoe Club unseen. But according to the city ordinances of the time, that was probably highly unlikely. The issue was that the Douglas Building at the time, in 1875 and onward, was where a lot of professional rooms were. So you had doctors, solicitors, brokers, insurance people. It was professional rooms. There were some rooms that were there for people to sleep in, but it was primarily a building which housed professional men and their businesses. As for the stories about the ladies of the night or evening coming into the Washoe and servicing the rich men in private rooms, I'm not going to say that that did not happen, but the likelihood and the truth of the matter is that there were city ordinances put in place at that time, and all of the men that attended this club were very well-to-do rich men. I highly doubt that they would have gone against those rules. They would have stuck to them pretty tightly, I would assume. I would put the story of the ladies of the evening into a little box of probably not. Now, the Douglas Building had a little bit of a history itself. Damage, it was prone to damage. So one of the major things that happened to it in 1898, there was a major explosion. It wasn't clear as to what caused the explosion in this particular article, but it was a big enough explosion to make a wall fall down and do severe damage. You'll see in this picture a little building, a little home next door to the Washoe Club. That was a house owned by Mr. Ernest Beckett, and he lived there with his family of 5. They escaped. It's miraculous, actually, that no one was killed in this explosion. The only person to get any kind of injury was actually a Mr. Brady, who was, as you can see in these articles, and because it was the time, he is referred to as the coloured janitor. So he was struck by some falling debris and got but he wasn't seriously hurt. So that was a good thing. There were many articles actually on this particular explosion, but this one I liked in particular because it did explain at the time a few of the people that had rooms in the building. So there was the Washoe Club, obviously, on the second floor, Douglas's offices, a Major Holfaker's law office. There was also Con Albin's Crystal Saloon, which was at the bottom. So when you walk into the Washoe Club now, you walk into the saloon. Well, that was the Crystal Saloon. That's what it was known as in 1898. And there was other offices there, of course, and there were some sleeping rooms as well. So far as the Crystal Bar is concerned, now that was run by Cornelius Ahern, and he had been running that since the time of that explosion. He'd been running the Crystal Saloon, which is where you walk into now. You walk into the Washoe Club. That saloon there was the Crystal. Now, he'd run that for a long time. He'd been away on a holiday or so. He came home, got sick, and passed away in his residence. Now, his residence was in the Douglas building above the bar. So yes, he passed away. So the running of the bar went along to a Mr. Marks, who took over, and he ran it for quite some time. But the actual owner, the building had changed hands from Mr. Douglas a couple of times. The owner of the building at the time put the rent up, which was really hard for Mr. Marks to continue to pay. So he decided, okay, I'm going to move the bar somewhere else. So now if you visit Virginia City, you will find the old Crystal Saloon at the corner of C and Taylor Streets. And it's now the tourism, the information centre. But there was a bit of back and forward. Mr. Marks wanted to keep the name of the Crystal Bar for himself. There was a legal stouse, and it ended up that he wasn't allowed to. But what he ended up doing to Mr. Marks was he made a little hotel upstairs, which he called the Crystal Hotel. So he kept the bar, but called it the Washoe Club, and the Crystal Hotel was moved upstairs. Now, so far as other deaths are concerned, for now, I can verify, of course, that Mr. Ahern passed away in his residence above the Crystal Bar. And also a gentleman in 1946 called James Smith was also found dead upstairs. The coroner said that he had died of natural causes. He was only in his 30s. He was a veteran of World War II. So James did pass away in the building. Now, the other famous story told is of a man named Scotty. So I'm going to tell you the story of Scotty, and it's a sad one. So we'll start with Scotty's son, Richard. Now, Richard was 19 years of age. On this particular night, on the Saturday, a friend called Alan, and an older boy called James, they were out and about, and they drove out to Silver City. So all the boys had had some alcohol, so the story went, and they drove out to Silver City, hopped out of the vehicle to run amok, as boys do sometimes, and unfortunately there was an unmarked, which was common actually, after researching this story, very common for unmarked mine shafts and air shafts, etc., into the mine to be present, and you could fall in. So the boys, unfortunately, that's what happened. It was dark, they didn't see, and Alan and Richard fell into this particular shaft to their death. So James went for help, got back with help. The bodies were brought up, but there was nothing could be done. So obviously that was a very devastating story. The families, just as a side note, in 1980 a settlement was made. So the mining company that owned that particular shaft that the boys died in, they were sued, and they had to give a payout. So this brought about change as well, which meant that you had to put safety, like you had to mark these things, either cap them off or put signs up, etc. Which leads us to Scotty. Now, this is Scotty McCulloch. John Edward McCulloch was his name. I would assume Scotty was his nickname. Now, he had a very proud past, and I think sometimes in the storytelling that is forgotten. Lovely looking young man there, serving in the army. He was a newspaper man. He worked at the Territorial Enterprise in Virginia City, and he was working on a book when he passed away. He was a deputy sheriff at one point in Story County. He was a newscaster and a disc jockey in the Reno area. I could find no evidence to say that he left a note before he took his life, but he did take his life in his apartment in the Douglas building, or the Washoe Club. From all accounts from his obituaries, he was a very nice man. So he is buried now with his son Richard out at the cemetery. So if you're ever there in the cemetery, do try and find the plot and maybe leave a nice flower. But there you go. So that is the story. Now, just one more interesting side note for you. The couple that owned the building before Scott were the Truehills, and they also purchased the Territorial Enterprise, and they were going to keep the Territorial Enterprise as was and make it a museum, which obviously they did. So far as the Washoe was concerned, they had great plans for the Washoe that never really came to fruition due to, I guess, it was going to cost far too much money. So, but Mrs. Truehill would write stories in the paper. They also started a newspaper back in the day, and she would write stories. And one of the stories she wrote was about Lena, the lady that was hard done by and lost her life in the Washoe Club. Unfortunately, guys, that was just a story. It's not based on fact. I'm safe to say I do believe the story of Lena is a fabrication, as the Truehills did have a reputation for writing, fabricating stories at the time for the newspaper. So here we go, my investigation. So these are the dastardly stairs. Now, just to show you something that you might not be aware of, do you see that? That's how close apartment buildings are to the Washoe. So let's just wait till I get inside. Hopefully they've unlocked the door for me or I'm screwed. Oh, beautiful. Ooh. There we go. Now we go down the stairs. Oh, and I've got to orientate myself to what floor I'm on. We'll just find out because I can't remember. Okay, all right, so this is the second floor, and there's a dummy. All right, guys, this is how I do it. Now, that room's locked. They've been doing a few. All right, yeah, that's the ballroom bit, and this is a little room, has a pram, all that sort of thing. This would have been nice back in the day, actually. And I think this is the room where the floor, it might be the next level up. I'm a bit puffed out, guys, because I just walked up the steps. And there's C Street out there. So yeah, I guess I'll just make my way around and try not to get a fright when I see. That was just a cupboard. So this is the second floor. Just showed you the rooms up there. So I've got to remember second floor is where I leave from. Oh yeah, and there's another little fella around there. I wish I wouldn't put them in there though, because you walk out and about and you get a fright. Oh, there was a power cord up here. Let's have a look. So that's where I just came in from. And this will be just leading to the power. Oh yeah, there's the power cord generator, because they need that because they've been doing some work in here. So I think that takes me back out there. And yeah, you can see there, see the apartment, how close it is. So that's why you've got to be careful what you put down to voices and things. Mind you, I'm pretty sure they've got their windows closed because it's bloody cold. All right. And then of course we've got that room's always, oh well, it's actually not locked, but it sort of is, so I won't go in there. We'll go down these rooms first. Oh, I can smell wood. I hope it's not. I can just smell sawdust. So I think that's because they've been cutting some wooden bits and bobs. And then there's this room here. And another room. It would have been, oh, this is the room with the crooked floor. Can you see that, guys? Oh, you probably can't tell. Hang on. I think that's what they're trying to fix here. But if I straighten, hang on. If I do that, you can see that the floor is crooked. It's not my phone that's crooked. So that's the rooms down here. And then this is the ballroom. Now this is where I came with Jason, and when I walked through, I'll show you, hang on, I'll just get the light a bit better. Oh, and this is sort of what's in here, paintings, can you see those? Some paintings, a mirror, some old stuff. Ooh, I wonder how much that'll tell me I weigh. There's just some weights there. And this is supposedly, I don't know what end of the place. Oh, it had to have been this end, but you know when the Ghost Adventures people were here, I think that's the X that they used to put down. I don't think they do that anymore. Ooh, get out. But again, that's C Street, a chair, the X. So I think that's where they supposedly set up their camera and then got a ghostie that walked from this side across to that side. So this is, yeah, I'm not sure that this was ever actually a ballroom because it was a gentleman's club. I'm going to research that a bit, but I would say this was like, you know, there would have been a bar up here and whatnot. Because the bar downstairs was primarily used by the miners. The richer gentlemen used up here. So now the interesting thing is here, can you see that? I'm not sure, that may have been like a little, people say it was maybe a bar on that side, and this was, I don't know, I'll have to look up what they used these, it could have just been a servery window, because there may well have been a kitchen up here. I mean, men need to eat when they're drinking. Ooh. And that's a window, not a window, I beg your pardon, a mirror, and a window up there. And power. I could have brought my computer up here and I wouldn't have lost anybody. And this is, yeah, laid out to play poker. This is where we did have that interesting interaction with things going off in regard to playing poker. And then when I was with Jason, I was walking from here, through like this arch, if you can see it, this archway. And I was walking through here, and I got to about here when I got the funny sort of electrical sort of shock type thing, and hair stood on end. What else? But I guess while I'm in here, I can talk to them. What do you think? Ooh, what's in here? Little dolls. I don't know. I think maybe if I do that, guys, I'm not sure. That's pretty cute. Hello. My name's Karen. I'm here from a country far away called Australia. I know that you get a lot of people walk through here. A lot of people are, well, I'd call them disrespectful. I don't know what you think. I will tell you that should I see you walk out in front of me, I probably will jump because, well, you know, it'll give me a fright. But if you are here, I'm very respectful. I'm not sure why you would still be here. But I will be downstairs near the bar downstairs in the near the crypt, near the storage room. So should you want to come and talk to me, that would be okay. Or do something to show me you're here. Again, so I'll get to the top. These oh wow, I didn't know it was this big. Okay, I guess I'll start down. Oh, I might work my way from the front back. So this is the top level, people. And once upon a time, these were apartments. So all right. Well, I'll go down this hallway first. That door's locked. This one looks to be off limits for the minute. Oh, look at all the poor dead animals. But there you go. And there's a room here, I think. Oh, and that leads off to a room here. There's another man. Hello, sir. So, okay, so that's that. And then we've got rooms here. Gee, it's a pretty big place. Let's go this way. Now, I'm not really sure what room John hurt himself in, because it's a pretty big place. Oh, I can't get in there, but I might be able to get in from around the other side. Those doors up there are locked, as is that one. Hello, John. I don't know if you're here. My name's Karen. I'm visiting from Australia. I've heard your story and I verified the story because I thought it might not have been true. But if you're here, John, if the story is that you hurt yourself because you lost your little boy, and I understand, because that happened to me. So I understand the pain. I understand not wanting to continue. I understand it all. So there's no judgment on my part. Yeah, this will pick up your voice if you talk into it. So I may not see you. I may not hear you with my own ears. But this device might pick it up. Oh, another exit, guys. So, John, I'll be a little bit quiet now and I will let you talk to me if you'd like to. That's just the roof, guys, manhole. So while I'm wandering back down the stairs, while I'm in here, feel free to talk and say something, and this machine will pick it up. And as I say, I know that you were a newspaper man as well. I know you were writing a book. And I'm so sorry for you that the pain was such that you didn't want to be here anymore. So I'm just going to stand here quietly. And if you want to say hello, you can. I can hear the television from the apartments next door, just so you know. Actually, no, it's probably the karaoke from the hotel next door that I can hear. Yep, karaoke. Well, John, if you're up here, or Scotty, however you like to be called, I'm going downstairs. I'll be in the room that they now use for a museum. Feel free to try to talk to me if you want to. As I say, I'm sure you're sick of people trying to talk to you. But my full respect and my full sympathy for your loss. Bye-bye, John. Alright guys, it's still a bit noisy I think with everything next door, so we'll go outside. So guys, it's 12:30 a.m. and I am here in the crypt where it is said that once upon a time they used to store the bodies of the dead because the ground was too hard to bury them. However, if the truth is to be told, that's probably not the case due to the fact that within Virginia City there was a mortuary and also a funeral home, and it is more than likely that indeed any person who passed away over the winter months would have been stored in the funeral home or the mortuary, not in the storage of the Washoe Club. However, I suppose over the years people have told that tale to add more ambiance, if you will, to this room. But so I'm in here and we'll see if anything happens. I have come in here a few times over my stay here and sat here quietly, and it's a very cool room and it's got a very high stone wall, which I will show you. If you have a look up, you can see how high the stone wall is. So, and all these stones in the stone wall are reasonably solid, but there's a few loose ones that even while I've been sitting here at times I've heard a little stone drop, and it does happen. I think if you were unlucky enough to be in the line of fire, so to speak, so if a stone dropped while you were standing where it was falling from, you probably would feel like someone had thrown it at you. So, I don't know. But anyway, I'll ask a few questions and see if we get any answers. I've got my handy dandy thing out. Now look, people, I just want to show you this. The closer I get to my phone, do you see how that goes off? Now I'm just going to test something. So bear with me. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to test because I do know for a fact I have not turned off my Wi-Fi. So let's do that. Okay, I'm back from turning off my Wi-Fi. Now we'll put this close and I'll show you. See how nothing happens, but before when I had my Wi-Fi on, the lights lit up. So if the lights light up now, it won't be because of my phone. So we'll pop that there. Ooh, there we go. And yes, the lights do, you know, if you bang it about a bit. Hello. My name's Karen. I introduced myself before. I'm not sure if you heard me or if you're at all interested in saying hello to me. I don't expect you to. I don't expect you to interact with me at all because I'm sure that you're quite sick of it. But it would be awesome if you could do something for me or say something into this contraption here in front of me. Or this little box here, guys. If you are here, this little box sets off lights. And apparently, if you touch that, it sets the lights off, and that tells me that you might be here. I'm very interested in the history of the Washoe Club. Is there anything that you can tell me about the club? Is John still here? I'm sure if you're a spirit, you know of John. They used to call him Scotty. He lived upstairs and he got very sad and decided he wanted to go, well, he decided he wanted to leave this world. Do you know who Scotty is? Is he here or is he finally at rest? Can you touch the lights on that little box in front of me? Can you make it light up? So I'm back up on the second floor, and I did tell whoever might live here or stay here. Oh, there's another electrical cord because they're doing work. So I guess we'll come in here because this is a nice room. It's quite cold up here. It's very cold outside though. I'm not sure what the temperature is at the moment, but it's cold. Oh, look, my torch lights up the firehouse. Anyway, we'll sit here, and we'll ask a few questions, I guess. There is dust. That's dust, guys. See all that? Don't worry. Just going to get my breath back because going up those stairs was hard work. Hello, my name's Karen. I'd appreciate it if you don't make any really loud noises or anything to put me off. But I'm here from Australia, and quite honestly, I think you know where Australia is. And I know that Mr. Mackey would come here. I know that a lot of the rich men in town came here. I know there's a lot of stories told about this place that aren't quite true, but that's, you know that. But it must be a little bit annoying for you when people come in and make up all the silly stories. This must have been a magnificent building once. I can hear a loud car outside, guys, so if you can hear some kind of doof-doof music, it's a loud car out on the street. I was wondering if you are here because it's so quiet. I don't expect you to show yourself. I don't expect you to do anything, to be quite honest. But I'm searching for answers. and I honestly don't know if there are any. I know that people come here and say things happen. Maybe they do happen. Oh, and I know this, well, I don't actually know if this is truly was where the poker room was. Ooh, that's cold. But I was here once before with some friends, and I absolutely don't know how to play poker. But I've got this little device that can light up if you touch it. And I know when I was here once before that did happen. So if you wanted to say hello, that would be a good way to do it. You don't necessarily need to use any energy if that's how it works. But you can touch that thing there. It will not hurt you. It's just a little box that if you touch it, it can sense your touch and it lights up. Now that's still, we're still in the, this is, as I said before, this is where I did walk through with Jason. And when I got to here, there was like a static electricity. It was really weird, and a strong smell of cigar smoke. Although, as I've said before to my regular people who watch, you know that I said it smelled like pipe smoke. Oh, check out the old typewriters. Look at those. They're pretty cool. Pretty dusty. I wonder if Samuel Clemens ever used one of those. Okay. So if anything, if there are no spirits here, which there could well be, they're just probably not talking to me, you know, it would be nice to see it brought back to its former glory. And the floorboards here make noise when you walk on them. Okay. Oh, there I am. I'll do it that way. It is getting late, and to be honest, I haven't experienced anything that I know of, but it doesn't mean once I review everything, go over with the headphones, we'll see what happens. I've got a few theories, and it's not to say I haven't picked anything up. It's very, very possible I have, and I haven't heard it. But we'll see what happens, hey? And yeah, see what happens.